The very first Spider-Man game that ever came out in 1982. And since then, we've been getting Spider-Man games galore, almost yearly. This character is so popular, we've been given God knows how many Spider-Man games at this point. Nowadays, the games are super in-depth and technical. You've got games running 4K. Spider-Man is swinging in an open world. Heck, Spider-Man can pretty much fly now in these games. But back in the day, Spider-Man games were much more limited. Games are mostly side-scrollers featuring next to no dialogue. You would just have like text on a screen. They were still fun. I personally loved the Maximum Carnage video game as well as Spider-Man and Venom Separation Anxiety. But when you look at games like Insomniac's Spider-Man and then compare it to Maximum Carnage video game, you notice these are nothing alike. In fact, for almost 20 years after the first Spider-Man game was created, they were all just side-scrollers. All of them were still side-scrollers. And like I said, the games were enjoyable, but it grew stale. Spider-Man is such a high-flying, bombastic character, people wanted to play a Spider-Man game and actually feel like Spider-Man instead of feeling like you're playing a Spider-Man arcade. And then boom! The year 2000 hits, the turn of the millennia, and we are treated with the first ever full-fledged 3D Spider-Man game. Spider-Man created by Neversoft. Oh my god, this game is amazing. It's an all-timer and it changed the scene forever once it was created. I literally just binge played the entire game in honor of it being its 25th anniversary this month. Wow, yes, that is true. Not exaggerating, not lying. This game came out a whopping 25 years ago this month. Woo! My god, this game is literally everything any Spider-Man fan ever wanted in a video game. I'm not exaggerating, I'm not stretching it at all. This is exactly what fans wanted and more. For the first time ever, you were in a 3D environment. You could swing in any direction. You could web zip as well. The game also boasted its own combat system that was completely new from any game previously. You had a collection of Spider-Man villains accurately portrayed, mirroring known comic book story beats. You had Spider-Man side characters like Mary Jane, Black Cat, and Jameson showing up as well. Heck, Captain America, Daredevil, Human Torch, and Punisher are here too. When you play the game, there's plenty of comic books you can pick up. There's plenty of alternate costumes referencing other comic costumes that Spider-Man has himself. And freaking Stan Lee narrates the game.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here.
Stan Lee himself, the man. I don't think you realize how wild that is. Spider-Man has a long history of games. But when it comes to influence, this is by far and away the most influential Spider-Man game ever created. We're going to talk about all of it. I mean, I just played it so I can get this banger video out for you guys. But we're going to start at characters. You guys know how I move. I usually like to start with the characters. We'll go to story after that, and then we'll talk about gameplay specifically. But, you know, if we're going to talk about characters, we have to start at Spider-Man. Spider-Man in this game fucking rocks. He's voiced by Rhino Romano, and the man kills it. Just a fabulous job voice acting Spider-Man. His quip delivery was great. His angry voice, also great. His regular conversational skills, out of this world. I loved it. He did an otherworldly job as this Spider-Man.
Well, that's my story, Johnny.
Looks like you're in a lot of trouble. You'll find Venom.
But how? Venom is invisible to my spider sense.
Knowing your luck, Venom will find you. Have faith, Spidey.
Where could she be?
You and your wife are innocent, Parker. Our bad.
Our bad? Our bad? I'm gonna kill you!
But the symbiote invasion cannot be stopped!
Symbiote invasion? There are more of them?
You fool! There will be more than you can imagine. That fog which blankets the city is preparing everyone in New York for symbiosis!
You're the fool, Mysterio! Where? Where are they coming from?
In universe, this Spider-Man is married to Mary Jane. He works for the Bugle. He's still friends with Human Torch and Black Cat, much like the comics. This guy rocks. This isn't like some wimp. He's not some wet noodle by any means. He's just the Spider-Man you know and love. Possibly the best thing about this Spider-Man's portrayal for me is his dynamic with Venom as well. This is high-key how I've always thought Spider-Man and Venom should be. Venom in this game is a bastard, I'm not gonna lie.
Where? What a wuss. Hey, wanna race?
He will hurt Spider-Man for any perceived slight. But if he realizes he's wrong, he'll admit it. And that happens in this game so well, man, so well. You've got Spider-Man furious at Venom for kidnapping MJ. Then Spider-Man is furious at how stupid Venom is to not realize the other Spider-Man wasn't really him. But then after all of that together, all of that arguing, all that screaming, even the kidnapping of Mary Jane, the two end up teaming up together while also putting forth hilarious banter the entire time. It's just so peak, and it's truly how I wish these two were written in the comics more to this day.
So, we're partners, but only for now. After we bust those tech thieves, it's payback time for kidnapping my wife.
Jeez, one little mistake. We said we're sorry.
Sadly, instead of exploring the depth of their relationship with the two, the symbiote just jumps from person to person nowadays, and you just gotta accept it. But Spider-Man in this game also, he's just a great guy. He's not a murderer. He doesn't have a vendetta. When Doc Ock initially claims to be good, Spider-Man doesn't fully believe it, but he's willing to see more, like a hero should. Then Doc Ock picks up Rhino and says he's putting him behind bars. Spider-Man actually begins to believe it. He has faith that this man can change. But after everything, when it all is said and done and Doc Ock, turns out to be in fact evil and you have to, stop him as he's trying to kill you, Spider-Man still takes his time to ensure Doc Ock doesn't die in the exploding nuclear power plant. This is a real Spider-Man, people. Neversoft knew what they were doing when they wrote this character in this game. They clearly read the comics. They knew the Spider-Man everybody wanted to see portrayed. They didn't go out of their way to write a brand new version of the character. They're like, this is Spider-Man, let's use it. This Spider-Man freaking rocks. Shout outs to Neversoft. If I had to give this Spider-Man a rating out of 10, it'd be a 10 out of 10. They did a phenomenal job with him. We already talked about him a little bit, so let's talk about Venom next. Venom in this game is a bad guy, but not like the rest of the villains. He's not in on Doc Ock's plan or anything. He just thinks Spider-Man slighted him and turned evil, so Venom goes out of his way to hurt Spider-Man's loved ones and stop Spider-Man's perceived evil rampage. However, Venom is massively mistaken. Spider-Man didn't do jack, and him and their squabble was just meaningless. Thankfully, this version of Venom has the good side to him too. After you show Eddie he's wrong, he joins the team to take down whoever is causing the destruction of New York City. Venom helps Spider-Man find clues, and when the final battle happens, Venom shows up out of nowhere to try to stop Carnage. He does get his ass beat, but at least he's there to help. Power-wise, this is one of the best Venom adaptations I've ever seen. Most Venom adaptations just make him a hulking monster who scratches and claws and yells, but not this Venom. This is the Venom you remember from the comics. It's Eddie Brock. He can web swing, he looks up to the good guys and he wants to be one. He fights like a regular person would fight. He punches and kicks, but he still uses his symbiote goo to pull you in and whatnot. He laughs at you as he's beating you up. Like, this is Venom. Neversoft is probably one of the only few people who have adapted the character that actually managed to use the fact that Venom can camouflage in their story. Like, why does nobody talk about this? This is a common thing Venom could do back in the day. Now it's just like nobody remembers that Venom can camouflage. I don't get it. And then by the climax of the game, after you've broken into Doc Ock's lab, now you're about to face off against Doc Ock and Carnage by your lonesome self. Venom just reveals himself. He was literally just invisible the whole time and he was following you along the way. And once he sees Carnage, he attacks. This Venom is hilarious. And he has some of the best voice lines I've ever heard given to Venom. I truly think this could be the best Venom adaptation of all time. This is like some of my favorite moments with him. I love this Venom, man.
I thought of that.
Tell me this, Einstein. Who could have wanted to steal Octavius' technology?
We know.
Who?
The Submariner.
Submariner? Get serious, will you?
The mighty Thor.
Are you out of your mind? Don't answer that.
Galactus.
Here it is, the records room.
Surf the web.
Shut up, Brock, we don't have time.
Parker hates it when I get the drop on him.
I hate it when he gets the drop on me.
Hey, Spidey, can you get us Captain America's autograph?
Oh, brother.
Next up, we got Doc Ock. Doc Ock in this game is the main villain of the game. He starts off trying to appear reformed and even goes out of his way to contain Rhino after Rhino is beaten by Spider-Man. But this is all a ploy to make himself look good as he secretly teams up with Carnage to unleash a symbiote invasion to take over the world.
Phase 1 completed. Let us begin Phase 2.
I thought it was all great. It's not the most in-depth Doc Ock story, but Doc Ock is just a bad dude. He doesn't really need to elaborate on why he's bad. We all know why he's bad. He's also like Spider-Man's nemesis, so it makes sense why he's the big bad. His boss fight was stupidly easy in my opinion. It's probably the easiest boss fight in the game. I still enjoyed it, but The game did do something pretty small, but I think it does show that Doc Ock is a genius, and like that's the fact that Doc Ock creates this sonic bubble, and he keeps it on hand just in case Carnage ever tried to double-cross him.
That's a sonic bubble in the middle of the room. Seeing as how the only two things that symbiotes hate are fire and sonics, I'm guessing Ock made it just in case Carnage tried to double-cross him.
Everybody knows Carnage isn't trustworthy. So I like that Doc Ock is like thinking with his brain. And I like that Neversoft thought that Doc Ock should have a little bit more emphasis on his intelligence. I mean, he planned the whole schemery of him trying to look like a good guy so everybody would believe him and he can conduct his evilness without anybody knowing. So I thought they did a great job with Doc Ock. The secondary villain of the game is Carnage, and Carnage I also thought was fair. He just doesn't get a lot of story to begin with. He's definitely super evil though. I also enjoyed the voice acting as well. His voice is like super shrill and higher pitched. This is what I always imagined Carnage should sound like. I know in like Let There Be Carnage, he has this deeper voice, and I personally am not a fan of that. I think Carnage is supposed to have that shriller, higher voice, and Venom is supposed to have that deeper voice. The way Carnage fights in this game is some of the best I've ever seen in most adaptations. The game's pretty limited, but they still manage to have Carnage throwing axes at you. He's turning his arms into sights, and he's like slinging them a bunch of times in a row. And he's even like doing like a double scythe slash forwards. I thought it was great. And then the way he lunges over the sonic bubble too, he looks all gooey and whatnot. I enjoyed that. This boss fight was simple, but he does do mad damage, so thank God there was plenty of extra health lying around because I probably would have lost without it. And then the last thing we gotta say about Carnage, and Venom by extension, is that both of these characters are who they are from the comics that we love. Cletus is Carnage and Eddie Brock is Venom. There's no shenanigans, there's nothing else about it. We get what we actually loved about the characters. Next up, we're going to talk about Monster Ock. This is the one character in the game who's an original character. It's like the one thing in the game that's not from the Spider-Man mythos at all. And it's amazing, man. It's so freaking good. Like, it's the scariest thing in Spider-Man's mythos to me. Not even close. The level running from him when he's like chasing behind you brought me back to my childlikeness. I thought I was a child again. I literally was playing this earlier today while I'm recording this for you guys. I screamed for my life trying to escape. I'm like, Spider-Man, please get out of there. It was terrifying. You're like 5 levels underwater and you've got to race him to the top of the facility before he catches up to you. And the whole time, like, no matter what gets put in front of him, shutting doors, closed walls, pipes, nothing's stopping the man. It's so scary. I loved it, but man, it was horrifying. And like, you could like do these web zip cancels that I learned how to do because I like how to play games like in in-depth ways. And then like I'm learning how to web zip cancel. Guess what? It didn't matter because he just speeds up along the way. I swear to God, I sounded like Patrick and SpongeBob when they shaved Sandy's entire being and they were still stuck in their tree dome and they saw her wake up and they're like banging on the door screaming no. That's exactly what I sounded like. I was terrified.
Oh look, it's SpongeBob and Patrick. Hey guys!
I also died in this level one time. God, I was so upset. I didn't want to do it again. Fire. I loved it. It was 10 out of 10 boss fight. Let's talk about Mysterio next. Mysterio in this game is actually the reason for the imposter Spider-Man. When I was playing, I actually had no idea. I kind of just went full stupid and like didn't even tell what was going on. And then there's like one part of the level where Mysterio's the boss, but you don't know that yet. And like you got to jump through fire, right, to get to the other side. And on the other side, you see an imposter Spider-Man. Me being as dumb as rocks that I sometimes manage to be when I'm playing video games, I thought it was a mirror, and I thought I was looking at myself. So I'm like, where do I go? This is a mirror. I don't jump through here. Duh. But anyways, I did manage to jump through, and I did manage to track down this imposter Spider-Man. And what do you know? It was Mysterio the whole time.
The imposter was a shapeshifter, so that means it was either Mysterio or the chameleon.
And he grew like a bajillion feet tall.
You're more angry back alley than friendly neighborhood.
Oh, for decades I've wanted to shut that mouth of yours. Finally, that time is upon me. At last, I will crush you once and for all! No, little spider, you will die!
This fight was ass. Oh my God. Mysterio was like command grabbing me, and like these command grabs have a bajillion and one active frames. Like you could even see how many times you get grabbed by this move and it throws you all the way back to the bottom. You gotta jump all the way back to the top again. Oh my God, this fight sucked. You're like, oh my God, I hated it, man. But when you do beat him, you punch his lights out and then he, you know, tells you exactly where Doc Ock is. I appreciate how it's the comic book version. You don't get like extra details. It's just Mysterio we all know, you know? And that's great. That's good enough for me, at least. Doc Ock hired him, and he lost. That's it. So be it. But I'll tell you the best detail about Mysterio in this entire game. It's a little tiny detail you might have missed if you weren't paying attention really closely. When Mysterio and all the bad guys are in jail together, you know how like back in the day, if you were watching a cartoon, you'd see a guy in jail and he'd have like a very attractive woman on the wall. He'd have like a babe on the wall, like a babe poster, you know, she'd be in like a bikini or something. Well, Mysterio actually has that in his jail cell, except for the fact that the woman on the wall, the babe, is wearing a Mysterio helmet. This shit took me out when I saw it on my freaking replay for the first time. I saw it in the background. I was like, gee, there's no way that's real, man. I thought I was playing a mod, but clearly I'm not playing a mod. It was so funny. Rhino. Rhino in this game is really like only a boss fight. Black Cat tells you that Rhino is causing a rampage, and you're like, we gotta stop him. So you show up with Black Cat, and Rhino horns Black Cat in the back, which no doubt would have killed anybody if it wasn't a video game and they weren't trying to have Black Cat killed. Because this looks brutal. The boss fight itself is actually pretty simple. You just have to keep dodging Rhino. You can't actually punch him. You just have to allow him to run into stuff behind you that'll hurt him. And I actually thought it was pretty fun. You can get into like kind of like a flow state where, you know, like he's moving super duper fast. He runs into something, hurts himself. He turns around, runs at you. You jump out of the way again. He hurts himself again. Like you can get into a real rhythm with it. So I kind of liked it a lot. As a character, you don't get much characterization for him outside that he's dumb. But when you beat the game, you do get another moment with him, and you get to realize he's super dumb. He's like super fucking dumb. Like the villains are all playing cards in a jail cell together after they've been defeated. Rhino is like,
hey, wait! So I'm a rhino, you're a scorpion, and he's an octopus. What's a mysterio?
bro, what are you talking about? Like, Jesus Christ, this guy's an idiot. And then Rhino claims he has bingo in a card game. Bro, what? What are you talking about? What are we doing here? This guy's a complete and total goofball. I loved it. Perfect Rhino. And then the last villain in the game to show up, is actually technically the first villain in the game to show up, he's just the last one I'm talking about, is Scorpion. Much like in the early comics, Scorpion shows up actually just to attack Jameson at the Daily Bugle.
You ruined my life, so now I'll end yours.
You have to race to the Daily Bugle before Scorpion kills Jameson. And then when you get there, you also have to fight and beat Scorpion while trying to keep Jameson alive. One thing to note about this version of Matt Gargan's Scorpion is that, like, he's in his contemporary suit of the time, the suit they gave him in, like, the 90s, early 2000s, or really just the 90s, which just looks odd in the sense that every other character in the game has their classic comic book look besides Scorpion. He's literally the only character that doesn't. So I thought that was a bit weird, but hey, that's how the game wants to roll it. That's how they play. These are the games we play. There's other characters that do show up, and we'll talk about them briefly. We got MJ, we got Black Cat, we got Daredevil, Punisher, Human Torch, and Captain America. None are given too many story beats, but they do come into the fray, which is pretty fun. Black Cat probably has the biggest role in the story. Outside of having the most appearances in the actual story, you know, she shows up way more than anybody else in this game that we just mentioned. She's actually the character that teaches you how to play the game in the beginning. It's you and her, you're like running into tutorial stuff. She's like, Spider, you should be jumping over there. And then Spider-Man's like, oh, if I press my R1 button, maybe I could web swing. I love older games. They're so fun.
Hey, Spider-Man, come over here. When a building is close enough, you can swing to it. Press the jump button and then press and hold the R2 button while in the air to swing.
Daredevil shows up because everybody believes you're a fugitive, but he uses his powers and he can tell. You're not lying. You're a good guy. Punisher shows up and he's trying to snipe you, but then you web up his scope and then you guys end up teaming up together. You talk to Human Torch about Venom and how Venom kidnapped MJ. This one feels the realest because this is definitely something that would happen in the comics. Like, these two boys are boys. They would confide in each other about something like this. I love Johnny and Peter. Captain America shows up at the very end of the game because Black Cat tipped him off about where you were, and he saves the day when everything's about to explode at the nuclear power plant. He's your, like, ride out of there. And then Mary Jane appears when, you know, Venom kidnaps her. You have to save her life from drowning. The interaction after this battle of you, like, boss fighting Venom is freaking amazing.
Mary Jane! I got you. You and your wife are innocent, Parker. Our bad.
Our bad? Our bad? I'm gonna kill
Peter
you!
Parker! Just get me out of here now!
Bummer. You're in the doghouse now, dude.
Coming, honey.
Oh, and then the real last person from the Spider-Man mythos in this game is Stan fucking Lee, man. The fact that they got Stan Lee to narrate this game is just otherworldly. You can tell how much they cared about the comics, man. They got this guy. They got the guy. Just a true love letter to the comic fandom.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble. But this is just the beginning, Spidey fans. So get ready for a true superhero action thriller, packed to the brim with thrills and chills, twists and turns, more supervillains than you can shake a web at, and of course, non-stop web-slinging, wall-crawling action.
All right, we finished talking about all the characters. I would say they're all like perfectly done, outside of like Scorpion's costume being a bit weird. They're all really great. Let's talk about the story a bit, and then we can move to gameplay. Spider-Man 2000 story. It's not the deepest, most heart-wrenching story ever made, but it is really like the first ever full-fledged story Spider-Man has ever had in a video game. Every single game before this either had text on the screen explaining to you what happened, or you're just fighting missions in an arcade setting. This is the first game that has full-fledged like cutscenes and everything. You got all these story beat moments. It's a three-dimensional freaking story mode game. You're swinging around. This is the first game of its kind. This game boasts its own ensemble of voice actors who damn near all did a phenomenal job when making this game. It feels so dang good. Some of the voice actors are even the exact same voice actors from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. They just get carried over. Like Black Cat, exact same. Doc Ock, the exact same. In the 90s Spider-Man show that we were all massive fans of already. So it only just further adds to how much we love this game. The story also really wastes no time at all, and it just hits the ground running. This could be probably my favorite part about the story personally. It doesn't do any setting up. It doesn't waste time like explaining to you who Spider-Man is. It just jumps right into the scene. Doc Ock is like on stage doing his speech when all the stuff happens. We'll get into it. But I just love the fact that this is how the game starts. We all know Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man 2000, and the character came out in 1962, right? He had comics before this. He's had his games before this. He's had cartoons before this. He had a live-action TV show before this. So everybody who's playing this game pretty much already knows who Spider-Man is. We all know who Spider-Man is. We all know the exact Spider-Man we want to see, too. That's probably another reason why I loved it so much. It's not like Neversoft, when they were developing this game, were like, oh, you know what? We want Spider-Man to be more quiet. You know, we don't want him saying a lot of jokes. Or like, oh, you know, Venom in this game, we want him to be more of a monster than he's usually shown to be in the comics. No, they didn't do that at all. They strictly said, what is the version of these characters everybody knows? The comics. So let's just run with the story as if it was the comics and keep going forwards from there. Every single character in this game might as well be their exact version from the comics, outside of the original character being Red Goblin Doc Ock, Monster Ock. And he's really sick. Honestly, he feels like he would fit right in with the comics perfectly. And that, for me, is possibly the best part about the story, is it just gets right into the action with characters we know and love. We don't have to learn new versions of the character we know and love. To start the story, though, Doc Ock claims to be a good guy, right? He's doing this whole thing. He's doing a show on a stage. And then, bam! Spider-Man steals his equipment. And before he leaves, he also breaks Eddie Brock's camera. This doesn't make any sense. Peter Parker is literally in the crowd right next to Eddie Brock. There must be an imposter. Peter leaves to immediately get things done, but Eddie is still there, lamenting the fact that his equipment was broken, and he claims he'll never work anymore. Like, because his camera was broken, he'll never have a chance of making it as a reporter again after losing his job. Again, this Eddie Brock already lost his job, by the way. I just think it's so cool that they're running with this as if we already know this stuff. I think it's great.
I can hear Jameson's voice already.
Brock, you loser! If I had given a real photographer that job, I would finally have the evidence to send Spider-Man away forever! You're through, Brock! When I am done with you, you won't be able to get a job taking wedding pictures in Siberia!
I tried to fight it. Can't fight it anymore!
Eddie Brock goes full Venom mode and just wants revenge on Spider-Man. Even though Eddie Brock knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man and the two of them were standing next to each other in the crowd. Eddie's not the brightest sometimes. But The game features poisonous gas being sent throughout the city, so you're not even allowed to really touch the ground. So you could tell the game has its limitations of the times. It couldn't fully render in a full city, and it's not a full open world game or anything. It's a mission-based 3D game. But to me, this is still the first godlike great Spider-Man game, and the story alone helps further prove it. Now that the game has started, you're off doing the usual Spider-Man stuff. And you have Black Cat telling you how to do it, and Spider-Man saying like, oh, let me use my R1 button. I love it. I love it so much. It feels so immersive. The first mission of the game, right off the rip, straight up hard. It's so hard. I played the game on medium, and I still had problems with the very first mission. You have to rescue these hostages, and these guys are just like, dumb, man. They're dumb. The hostages, they're like running past me, the guy who's supposed to save them, running to the gunman who would shoot them, and I would lose the mission and have to restart. It was so infuriating. But you do manage to beat them and save the hostages. But soon after you save the hostages, you catch wind that Scorpion is attacking Jameson at the Bugle, and you gotta race over there to protect him.
Scorpion's headed out for old J. Jonah Jameson from day one, blaming Jameson for being stuck in his Scorpion suit. Spidey had better get there quickly, or JJJ may end up in the obituaries of his own paper.
The mission where you have to protect Jameson from Scorpion, I freaking loved it. You're like racing to the Bugle with a bar on the side showing you how close Scorpion is to getting Jameson, while you have to race to the Bugle and you're like, damn, I'm pretty far. I might not make it in time. It was awesome. I loved it. And then when you get there, you also have to beat Scorpion too while protecting Jameson. Like, Jameson has his own health bar in the fight, and he can be killed by Scorpion. He even is like running from room to room and Scorpion's chasing after him, and you gotta follow him and beat him down. I love stuff like this in games. It feels so much more authentic than games nowadays. A lot of times you'll see like, you know, maybe some innocent bystanders on the side of a fight. And like, if like, let's say the Rhino ran into one of these guys in a video game, they would just glitch out and not even be shown to be there. This game really programmed is like, look, this is Jameson. You gotta protect them. And if you don't protect them, based on this health bar, you lose. Like, it's straight up so authentic. It feels so real. I loved it. You could literally lose because this dumbass J. Jonah Jameson makes you lose. I think that's great, honestly. Like, that's so real. After you save Jameson, a bunch of coppers are actually after you. Because of, you know, the whole Spider-Man imposter framing you in the very beginning of the game, everyone thinks you're a criminal. So you spend the next level running from a helicopter, raining rockets and gunfire down on top of you. It is so fucking cool. It's so cool, man. I loved it. You're like running through the gunfire. They're like exploding parts of the building and other cops are coming out trying to shoot at you. It was so good. It was so good. And then there's like one part where you're like climbing on the building and they're shooting rockets at you. Just pure adrenaline. Adrenaline out the wazoo. I loved it. There's even like one part specifically when you're supposed to climb the building. I couldn't even really figure out how to do it. I kept dying and I loved it. I was like, damn, how am I supposed to do this? Like, I usually don't like when games make me figure stuff out like that. I die over and over again. I'm like, please, I need to know how to do this. Like, honestly, that gets annoying. But for this game, I thought it was really fun. I really liked every aspect of missions like this. Once you make it through there, you've escaped the coppers. You made it out alive. You actually meet up with Black Cat. And then when you meet up with Black Cat, she lets you know that Venom has taken over the big screen in New York City. And on the big screen, he's boasting about how he's mad at Spider-Man and he needs Spider-Man. If he doesn't get Spider-Man, he's going to attack and murder Mary Jane because he has her hostage. Venom gives Spider-Man 24 hours to save Mary Jane. But at the same time, Black Cat is telling Spider-Man about how Rhino's causing all this wreckage downtown. Spider-Man's just like, oh my God, look, I know Venom. He'll give me the 24 hours to save Mary Jane. So let me go with you, Cat, first. I'll help you stop Rhino, okay? So you go to help stop Rhino, and what happens? Black Cat gets clobbered. She gets absolutely obliterated in the back by a stab, a horn from the Rhino. And you gotta beat this big, no-brain-having, muscle-bound dweeb all by yourself. You do, like I said earlier, by jumping in this stuff and letting him run into it. And after the mission ends, you'll never guess who shows up to clean up the crime scene with the cops. It's Doc Ock. He comes with his own fake rescue team. They take Rhino and they even abduct Black Cat. Black Cat's like saying stuff. She's like, oh no, they're not real. Please help me. But she's in so much pain. Spider-Man can't really understand what she's saying. While at the same time, Spider-Man's thinking about the fact that he has to race over to Venom, beat up Venom, and save Mary Jane. So he's not too focused on Black Cat. He's more so just like, Black Cat's getting some medical attention. Doc Ock has changed over a new leaf. Things are going great. What happens next is you have Spider-Man and he's talking to Human Torch. He's like, dang, Venom is really causing all these problems. I don't even know where he is. He's a monster. And Human Torch is like, I believe him. You know Venom. He likes to cause a scene. He'll get to you in no time. And then boom, right after that ends, Venom gets to you in no time. And what do you gotta do? Now you're chasing after Venom. No longer are you being chased by the cops. You're chasing him down. And you have this bar meter that's like increasing and decreasing based on how far away he gets from you. And you can actually lose like this, okay? It's not like the game has it like he'll just get to max distance and wait for you. No, you will straight up lose the game if he gets too far. He'll turn invisible. And that's just the end. You gotta start this mission over again. And the game doesn't care whether like you get stuck on a wall, you web swing the wrong way, or you know, if your version of the game glitches out and it starts you behind the freaking barrel, so you're even worse off than you should be. You're just stuck on a wall to start your mission chasing down Venom. Yeah, even if this happens, the game will still progress either way, and you will lose if you lose Venom. So that did happen to me. As you could clearly tell, I'm a little fired up about it, but I actually loved this mission. I thought this mission was so great. You're trying to race Venom, catch him down across the entire city. And this dumbass will not stop. He just won't. Like, oh my God, he was a menace. I think my favorite part about this mission was this is actually the first time I realized you get the armored spider suit for having like the extra health. The armored spider suit is your extra health. It's like an overshield essentially for the game. And I managed to get one of these when I was chasing down Venom in a collectible comic as well. But I also really enjoyed just how goofy this Venom is. Like, Venom breaks into a building and he's saying all this goofy stuff to all the innocent bystanders he's running by inside of the building. It's just so great, man.
Look out, lady.
Oh my goodness!
Get out of my way, nerd. Watch that first step, Parker. It's a doozy.
Oh, toe, ow! Ow, my head!
Look out, lady.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, sorry, lady. Didn't see a thing.
Once this big old goober finally stops running from you, you gotta beat him up. You beat him down, you know? It's actually pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because Venom, apparently, he just doesn't care about being punched, and he slaps the ever-living shit out of you over and over again, and it takes, like, God knows how much of your health away, and if he web goos you in with the symbiote goo, it takes away, like, 70% of your health. It's not easy. What I had to do was I had to put web gloves over my fists before I beat the ever-living brakes off of him, and it worked for me. But when you do beat the guy, you'll never guess what he does. He runs away again, yeah, and this time into the nasty-ass sewers. You gotta, like, search through the sewers for him. It's really frustrating, and you'll never guess what you find in the sewers. Lizard's men. Turns out, Venom has actually apparently, like, put Lizard behind bars, and he's using his men to do his own bidding. And, yeah, the only reason Lizard's even in this game is because you find him, and he tells you how to find Venom. He's just there behind this cage like, yo, Venom is using my tunnels and my people. He also has Mary Jane. And then he spits like this riddle at you. He's like, if you cross the street, go 10 paces to the left, double take 3 times, and spin on your head, boom, you'll find Mary Jane. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me, at least.
Only one way to get there. Go back along this tunnel and cross over 2 waterways. At the 3rd waterway, go right. Follow it around the corners, past the machinery, skip the first tunnel intersection, then go right at the next one. You will find the woman there.
Thanks, Lizard.
And I actually found her on my first try, too, so clearly I heard right. But the sewers, they're like a labyrinth. You finally catch up to the man after you get through this entire labyrinth, and he's attempting to drown Mary Jane. It's got like, they have a meter on the side for Mary Jane, and then the water rising, in which if the water rises to Mary Jane, she's gonna drown to death. And you have to flip these switches to stop the water from rising, and Venom constantly flips the switches back on, okay? So it's like this whole contest of stopping the water from rising while beating up Venom, while stopping the water from rising again, because Venom goes invisible and he flips a different switch across the room. And that's pretty much how the boss fight goes. I'm not gonna lie to you, I definitely didn't realize this at first, and I didn't realize there was more than 2 switches. So I actually turned on like 2 of the switches, and Venom turned on a 3rd switch, and it damn near killed Mary Jane instantly. I actually beat the level, I think, on my first try still, because there's a lot of health going around, and I just managed to turn off the switches immediately after that. But if you do play this game for the anniversary, be careful, because there's 4 switches, not just 2. Don't kill Mary Jane, you know, that's the GOAT. When you finally kick Venom's ass, he's like, well, you broke my camera and ruined my chances of getting a job again. And that's when Spider-Man's like, bro, I was with you in the crowd. That was clearly an imposter. And Venom's like, shoot, great point. My bad. Let's work together on this. Me and you, we're a team now. And that's actually what happens. You and Venom are now a team. Venom helps big time in finding the next lair too. And you gotta fight these nasty homegrown symbiotes. But prior to getting to the lair, you get these awesome moments between Spider-Man and Venom. They're trying to figure out who's behind everything, and then they're like swinging to get some more data. You know, they're gonna get to the data and look it up online to try and figure some stuff out. These cutscenes are amazing. But once you get to the lair, you fight these homegrown symbiotes. You make your way through the entirety of the lair as you keep going lower and lower. You go lower and lower into the lair, and you'll never guess what you find. You find the Spider-Man imposter you were chasing the whole time. Once you find the imposter, you get through, and then you start having words with the imposter, and it turns out the imposter was Mysterio. And he's massive. You gotta beat him before he'll tell you what's going on. And then once you do beat him, he clues you into the plan of controlling symbiotes to take over the entire world. He gives you the location of his boss, and guess who it is? None other than Doc Ock, who's working with Carnage. But before you could get to them, you gotta travel through this rigorous pathway filled with lasers and electric walls underwater. You're not actually underwater, this entire building is underwater, but the lasers and electric walls are definitely right there with you, and oh my god, this part sucked. God, it sucked. I kept dying. But when you finally get to the duo of Doc Ock and Carnage, it's the two of them versus the one of you. You think, I'm gonna get my ass beat by these two goobers at the same time. And then boom, Venom pops in. It's actually just two 1v1s. You gotta beat Doc Ock yourself, and you're doing pretty easy boss fight fashion. It's not hard. The impact weapon, I'm not gonna lie, it does so much damage. But Venom lost his 1v1, and you gotta fight Cletus now, all by yourself. After dodging a bunch of axes and sights at you, you do beat Cletus, and it seems like the game is over. It's not. The nightmare has actually just begun. You're like, woo, it's over. And then boom, the nightmare fuel hits you. Carnage Doc Ock is formed, and you've got to escape from an underwater nuclear reactor before it blows up while he chases you. Holy moly, this shit was scary. You're like running through 5 floors of just hell. This monster is an affront to God, and it's just dreadful. Oh my God, it's so terrifying. Like I said, I played this so recently now, and I was still scared. I'm a grown adult, and that just scared the hell out of me. But once you beat this game, you beat the last level, you're beating the game. Doc Ock and his cohorts are arrested. You're playing cards with Daredevil, Captain America, and Punisher. Venom still has one last funny voice line to say once you've beaten the game. It's amazing.
Hey, Spidey, can you get us Captain America's autograph?
Oh, brother.
I love how you just jump into things. Nothing was mixed around, nothing to talk about. Like, I'm Spider-Man jumping into the game, played the full game, I beat the full game. I loved it, man. This game was so peak. Its story's amazing. I love how it just uses the comic facets of the story. It doesn't try to do its own thing. It doesn't try and reinvent the wheel. It knows what we all love about Spider-Man, and it just gives us that. We all know every single villain and hero in this game. We know every single supporting character as well. And if we don't know them, guess what? This is Spider-Man. Quite possibly one of the most, if not the biggest comic book IP ever created. Let's say you're playing this game, you run into the Lizard, you don't really get to fight the Lizard, you're like, I want to know more about the Lizard. Guess what? There's like 300 plus comic appearances with the Lizard. He appears in multiple games, including Insomniac Spider-Man 2's brand new game, and he appears and he looks goddamn gorgeous in that game. I just love how we have a game that just does it as an adaptation of the comics. If you want to learn more, read the comics, or read other adaptations. I freaking love it. All right, we gotta look at the gameplay. In my opinion, the gameplay is probably the best part. I loved it. Now, the game doesn't feature a lot of buttons, but somehow there's a lot you can do. Your base gameplay has you like punching, kicking, or shooting webs as your main basic attacks. But these can be comboed together to do sick combos. If you press web and punch or web and kick, you perform like a grab attack on an enemy. There's also web moves. If you press like forward and web, you shoot the impact weapon. Left and web, and you get like web fists on you can beat people up with. And then you get like right and web, you can put like a shield on you that like knocks everybody back when it explodes. Oddly enough, this game came out, like I said, in 2000. And I think these abilities that we just spoke of are some of the most creative abilities we've ever seen in a Spider-Man game. I've never seen webbed boxing gloves ever since this game came out. I could be wrong about that, but I truly don't recall any webbed boxing gloves ever since the game came out. And on top of that, I don't recall him using a web shield either. Marvel vs. Capcom, obviously, he uses a web shield, and that game came out before this game came out. But in this game, you have this as an actual attack. He webs himself up into a cocoon and explodes out of it. It does damage and knocks enemies back. I've never seen either of these moves in any game since them. The web swinging in this game is much slower than newer games. It's not like Insomniac Spider-Man where you're like zip, 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 turning into fly mode, zip, 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 web, 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 web. No, that's not how it works in this game. It is much slower, but for some reason, I enjoy it still. I love Insomniac's ability for mobility. I don't think there's anything more fun in terms of mobility than like Insomniac Spider-Man, because the way you can move in that is so free. It reminds me of a fighting game almost, where you can just like cancel movements and just fly around the stage like you're flying around New York City. It's fun. It's amazing. It's so fast. But that doesn't mean not being super duper fast is bad. Maybe because I knew it was an older game when I played it, but I just felt like it was natural. Spider-Man jumps, he shoots a web or two, going in a straight destination to his target. It seems like it makes sense to me. On top of that, he still has a web zip button. And you can even cancel your web zip and cancel its animation lag to get even more real speed. So there is even still some like fighting game-esque stuff like I talked about in Insomniac Spider-Man, where you're canceling your movement to move even faster. But when it comes to the webbing, there's something about this game that I know for sure. I've never played another Spider-Man game since it came out. I've played games prior that had this, but since this game came out, I've never seen this in a video game for Spider-Man. Web fluid. This game actually features web fluid. You're picking it up constantly throughout the entire game. Web fluid, it allows you to use all your moves. If you have more web fluid, you could web somebody down completely and just beat them by holding the button web. You could use more impact webbing with more web fluid. You could swing further. You web zip more. Web fluid, it's a big part of the game. You could run out of web fluid and then you have to wait for your minimal amount left to recharge just in case you have to web swing. But after that, you got to wait again. Like, I think the web fluid is peak. I've never seen it in any game since. At least I can't remember any game since then. And I loved it. I thought it was so good. And I think a lot of times people would hate on this stuff because it really neuters how fast you can be and how much webbing you can get. And people want to play as Spider-Man and shoot webbing all they can. But if you're going to make this like a Spider-Man from the comics, that's a very big part of the comics, is that he has web fluid. He doesn't have organic webbing. When you play a game like Insomniac Spider-Man, I also can understand not having web fluid. In this game, you have what? 6 moves that require webbing. And like, if you want to use impact webbing and spam it, it's broken. It's cheesy. It's not even fair. So they got to put a web fluid cap on it. But if you were to play Insomniac's game, like imagine you were trying to swing around New York City with a web fluid. Oh my God, dude. You'd never get anywhere. You'd run out so fast. So I think they're both still good. Neither is bad. I just thoroughly enjoy the fact that we have a game that finally is using web fluid, keeping it close to the comics for once. And outside of what we just talked about, you actually have even more cool features I haven't even really got to talk about. We briefly hinted at it, but Armored Spider Mark 1 is in this game as an overshield. I personally love the Armored Spider suit because you could really use it with like anything, like quite literally anything. But the game actually has other suits as well, and most of these suits come with their own gameplay changes. You got the Spider-Man 2099 suit, which gives you more damage done. The Symbiote suit allows you to shoot unlimited webbing. Captain Universe suit gives you both extra damage and unlimited webbing and invincibility. The Spider-Man Unlimited suit just gives you invisibility. There's actually 2 Ben Reilly suits. You have the Scarlet Spider suit and then just like the Ben Reilly suit. Neither of them come with abilities, but the fact that they're even here is cool. And then you've got Quick Chain Spidey and Peter Parker Spider-Man, as well as Bagman. All of which, their differences only allow you to hold a maximum of 2 web cartridges, as if, you know, you had just recently changed and you didn't have much webbing on you. I love this. I love this personally. Outside of the fact that like, the last 3 we just mentioned have like reduced webbing, which makes it feel realistic. You know, Bagman is Spider-Man without his regular suit. Peter Parker is definitely Spider-Man without his regular suit. And then Quick Chain Spidey is Spider-Man without his regular suit. He has less cartridges on him. But overall, what I love so much about it is that the gameplay changes completely with each suit you have. You get to move through levels faster. You get to change your entire way of playing the game. Unlimited webbing. You could just start spamming impact webbing for the entire game. Like, I think it's so neat that they added such drastic changes with each suit. Insomniac literally did that in their very first Spider-Man game, and this game predates it like by 17 years, 16 years. I just think it's so cool that it's not purely cosmetic, but also changes how the game feels. I like that a lot. The levels themselves also add a metric ton to the gameplay experience. For example, the level you run from the cops, you actually feel like you're running from the cops. I feel like games nowadays, if you played a mission like that, it'd be programmed to have the cops always be a certain distance or not be a threat. This game is just like, yeah, outrun those cops. And if you don't, deal with rockets and gunfire, fam. Like, I love that. It's so authentic. Instead of like a manufactured chase scene, it's just a chase scene. There's like puzzles in the sewers where you have to climb and not get flooded by water. That also feels so authentic. But perhaps the most authentic and the best feeling type of missions in the game for me are the chase or be chased missions. The mission where you have to chase down Venom so you can kick his ass after he captured Mary Jane? Awesome. You gotta stay within a certain distance or you will lose them, and I feel nowadays games just would not have them. They would have them wait at the max distance, as we said earlier. I love that this game, not like that. What also makes me really like these missions too is it reminds me so much of Ultimate Spider-Man, which came out a few years later than this game. It had like scenes where you would be chasing Human Torch or Beetle, and both of these missions are some of my favorite missions ever, even if they were stupidly hard. I still love them. But in my opinion, the best mission of all is the last mission where you're being chased by Carnage Ock, Monster Ock. You have to run for your life for like 10 minutes with this ugly monstrosity chasing after you. The mission has a fixed camera too, so you can hardly see where you're going or swinging to. You're just like praying. It reminds me so much of classic Resident Evil with like a fixed camera compared to today's Resident Evil with a first-person camera. It's similar to Spider-Man and Insomniac to Spider-Man in 2000s. Nowadays, if you had to put like Insomniac Spider-Man in a mission like this, it'd be cracked, dude. I'd be out of there in no time. I'd be web zip, 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 zip. Carnage Ock would never, ever have a chance of catching me. But in this game, oh my god, it could be the scariest experience I've ever played in a game in a while. You truly cannot tell where you're going, and it is so easy to accidentally swing into a wall, and then you're just stuck there until you die. Oh my god, it's scary. And like I said, it's like the original Resident Evil games. Nowadays, Resident Evil games are scary, sure, but back in the day, they were so scary because you couldn't even tell what was going on because of the fixed camera. Oh my god, inherently just scarier. When you're playing this level, you're just filled with adrenaline. I remember the first time I played this level on my replay, I died. I'm not gonna lie, I was screaming because I was so furious that I died as Carnage Ock was beating my lifeless carcass down. I did not want to play this level again. It was so scary. But I did play the level again, and I did finally beat the level, and I beat the entire game. I loved it. It was just so amazing. The gameplay in this game fucking rocks. I'd say the only downside in terms of gameplay is the camera is just fucking awful. Holy god, does that shit suck ass. You're stuck looking at the way you're looking until you change direction and immediately let go of left stick. There is no right stick. The PlayStation 1 didn't have one, so you can't just freely look around. Instead, you have to turn your camera and then let go of everything in terms of movement, and then your camera will reposition so that it's facing in front of you. Oh my god, it was so hard. That's what makes missions like saving the hostages so hard. Sometimes you don't even see hostages because the camera's so bad. They just get shot off screen. Like, it was tough, man. Outside of that, though, I can't really find any issues with it. And that's really a hardware limitation. You know, the PlayStation. PlayStation didn't have any extra sticks, the PS1. The game also came out on N64. I didn't play it on that, but maybe that one has a better camera angle, and I believe it also came out on Dreamcast. I played the PlayStation version. Camera sucked. That's the only issue I had with the gameplay. I loved it other than that. Honestly, honest to God, this could be the best Spider-Man game ever made. It's just so damn fun. 25 years ago, Neversoft created this game, and it is still, to this day, a godlike game. If you haven't played this game, I strongly suggest you try to. Every single Spider-Man fan needs to play this game. It's just so damn godlike. This game came out in 2000. Its influence is undeniable. You would not have other Spider-Man games be so damn peak if it wasn't for this game. Games like Ultimate Spider-Man, Web of Shadows, Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, Insomniac Spider-Man, heck, even possibly the greatest movie game ever created, Spider-Man 2. None of these games would have existed if it wasn't for Spider-Man 2000. None of them. I think it's time we all give credit where credit's due. This game, quite literally, changed the landscape for Spider-Man games. Neversoft should forever be proud of what they did. Spider-Man 2000 will live on forever. Happy 25 years to Spider-Man 2000, and thank you again, Neversoft, Marvel, Stan Lee, and everybody else who had a hand in creation of this project. Thank you. The official 25th anniversary of this game will be on August 30th, later this month. I kind of want to do a live stream of myself playing the entire game in one sitting, so let me know what you think of this and if you'd watch it. I think it'd be really cool we could have fun, you know, chatting together while I'm live streaming. I got my own microphone, all this stuff, obviously. And yeah, I'd even put myself really in it. We wouldn't just have like the dunk animations. But that's just something I'm thinking about doing. Nothing's written in stone yet. Let me know what you guys think. I also have a Discord if you want to talk to me more on there, and I have a Patreon if you want to support and see some videos early and get these videos with no ads. That's pretty much it for me in this video, though. I'm just so grateful I got to play this game again. I loved it. I forever love Neversoft Spider-Man. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched this far into this video. If you like Neversoft Spider-Man like I do, you should probably subscribe because we got the same wavelength, man. And if you just like Spider-Man in general, feel free to subscribe and we can talk about this more. I'm grateful to each and every single one of you for watching this far into this video. Please let me know what you think down below. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Dunk out. Peace.